It's a beautiful sky. You know, I don't know if you can see the raindrops, but it's starting to sprinkle out here. This is the sky around Hidden Hollow today. Tank's being real disruptive today. Got a couple things going on. I don't remember if y'all remember about my truck and the hailstorm that came in and did over $5,000 worth of damage to it. But I got a new paint job. Got all the dents taken out. They replaced the hood. A dentless paint removal guy, or paint dent removal guy, however you call it. He did a number on this. They repainted my truck. Oh man, it's beautiful. I'm just so happy with it. This is a 2015 short bed 5.7 Hemi 4-wheel drive. But I got a couple things going on in the loft I'm going to show you. Plus I have a quick story I think I'll tell you. I like to call it the Tales from the Loft. Y'all hang on, I'll get right back with you. Here's my door. I'm having to prop stuff against it at night. I haven't had a chance to take it off yet. With all the moisture and everything, the door's kind of swollen and doesn't want to shut tight properly. A real pain in the butt. And since I've been kind of physically down from that old horse injury I was telling you about yesterday, it's kind of hard for me to remove this door, lug it around, and cut you know, the edge off of it and everything. What I did was I just finished dumping all of the wood pellets out of all the bowls. Because of John over the Ham's flight, I decided to use one of my old. It was going to be a water at one time, but I turned it into a nest box. Right now, I turned it into a pine needle box. Here, I'll give them something to do. They can make their own nests if that's what they want to do. These are all my whites. Y'all remember Splash? Kind of wanted to tell you a story about my days in Pennsylvania. I've lived in Maryland, Pennsylvania, Florida, West Virginia, North Carolina. Yeah. So one time when I was up from North Carolina, I went to stay at my sister's place after my house in North Carolina had burnt down under some really weird circumstances. I still don't know what happened. But anyway, I went to Pennsylvania, and I got a job at a temporary agency, and they sent me to it was called 7D's, like 7 number and letter D, 7D's Trust Company, and it was in Pennsylvania, up near Altoona. I forget the little town, because I forget all that stuff. But while I was there, you know, I ran a big forklift, and I was responsible for moving trusses, loading trucks, unloading trucks, and bringing lumber to the guys in the factory while they were building the trusses. Well, while I was there, I made friends with another boy up there who was about my age, and I will say I was pretty stocky at the time. I had pretty good biceps and stuff, and I'd lifted a lot of weights at the time. And the other boy that I worked with, he was about the same way. And I think that's why we really turned out to be good friends, because he was, hey man, you're a pretty good sized boy, and we started talking and we started hanging out around lunchtimes and stuff, and we became pretty good friends at the time. So one day we were talking, and he was telling me about something him and his wife used to like to do, and which was, you know, she would go to the bar before him, and she'd get up there, she'd start having fun, she'd be flirting with some guys and everything. And when he would come in, she would all of a sudden, you know, be offended or be sexually assaulted by this guy that she was flirting with and hanging out with and everything, which would give him the opportunity to fight these people. He was in the Rangers in the military, and when he went in there, he told him he wanted to be tougher than his brothers, because apparently his brothers used to kick his butt all the time. And when he came out, this boy liked to fight, and he would tell me some stories, and it was pretty crazy. But before I go too much further into that, let me tell you another story. So, like back in the day, I was single, and I ran around with my sister and some of her girlfriends, and we used to go to certain bars, and, you know, we would do karaoke. Now, I wasn't the biggest singer, but I would get up there and I would sing, and we would have a good time. Basically, we would drink and do some things, and one night I'm up in there, and this girl started talking to me, and she was real sweet on me and everything, and after we talked for a while, she's like, hey, let's go out to my car, you know, and we could partake in some 420 environment. And I was like, well, hey, why not? You know, she's a pretty girl. I'm a single guy. What else do you do? So we went out in the parking lot, and we were having a good time out there talking, and yeah, we were smoking, and we were doing our thing. And about that time, a car of about 2 or 3 guys pulled up next to us that knew her, because I didn't know these people in this area. And, you know, they were like, well, where's so-and-so? And she was like, well, he's home. He's going to be coming up later and all this other stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, they're probably talking about her boyfriend or something, but apparently these guys aren't saying nothing to me, so I didn't feel like I was doing anything wrong, but who knows, right? Well, when we're done, went back inside. I guess I had a couple more beers, maybe sang a couple more songs. About time for us to go. Me and my sister and her girlfriends, we all jumped into the car and we left. Flash forward. Like I said, here I am. I'm working with this boy, and he was telling me a story about his wife and him, what they like to do. Well, we became friends, like I said, and one night he was telling me, he says, hey man, when we get off work tonight, being a Friday, he says, why don't we go out drinking? He says, my wife will meet us later. We'll go out with her. Maybe we can go meet some of her friends for you. I was like, hey, you know, that sounds good to me, because I'm not doing nothing special. So we went out, we got, you know, went off work and everything, and me and him drove our cars out, and we went to this bar, and we were just sitting there drinking a few beers. And when it was time for his wife to come to pick us up, because apparently she was going to be the designated driver, she walks in, and lo and behold, guess who it was? Yeah, it was that girl that I was enjoying something out there in the parking lot with her a while back at that other bar. You know, the one that was hanging out with me, and her I guess her friends were asking her where he was at. Well, I guess that was he. So I'm looking at her, and she's looking at me, and we definitely know each other. And I was like, oh God, here we go. Well, she never said a word. I never said a word. So we went through the whole night out getting, I got pretty tore up that night too. I know that. So did he. And we had a really good time. But when it was all said and done, I got dropped off at my house because I wasn't driving. And we went about our business, and they went home. There was nothing ever else to it. But it just crossed my mind, you know, the whole night I kept thinking, this is the girl, she was setting me up. She was setting me up so he could come in the bar and jump me. Pretty crazy, huh? It's a small world. Because I thought it was pretty crazy when he was telling me the story about how he liked to fight all the time, and that's how they would do it. She would go out there and get these guys all wound up and enticed on everything, and as soon as one of them made a move on her or something, she would scream his name, and he'd be down the other end of the bar, and it would be on. He also had a thing where he used to tell the people, you get the first punch. And he said he would let everybody hit him first. Like I said, this boy was crazy. He was a big boy. But anyway, I got a bunch of pine needle down here today. I'm going to let these birds build their own nests. Figured gave them something to do. And I was looking around trying to figure out, like, time-wise, how long do y'all leave the lights on in your lofts? I got a lot of answers, but mostly, like somebody mentioned to me, says, you know, they need to go to sleep sometime. Guy said, you know, leave them on about 14 hours a day. My thing is, it's about daylight most of the day. And I was leaving the lights on 24 hours, but tonight I put it on a timer. At 8 o'clock tonight, the lights will go off. Everybody be shut down. So these are all these are Belgian clip I can't even pronounce the name right now. These are some pretty good homing pigeons right here. There's about 35 in here, and Splash. Splash is now a girl. Turned out to be. Then I go in here, in my other little loft. This is my beginning loft. I've got 12 Jansons in here. These are pure Jansons. I was told they never flown before. I really don't care. I've got nest boxes. Got their feeder right there. Plenty of purchase for these guys. And I'm going to put them on the same light system. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that story with you. I think I'm going to do some stories as I go on my loft from now on. I got plenty of stories. I've been around. I've seen a lot of neat things, and I think I'm going to start sharing them with you. Start calling them Tales from the Loft. Anyway, big shout out to everybody that subscribes. Thumbs up. You know, recommend me to your friends. I'll do the same for you. I do that all the time anyway. been a great Tuesday. I'm going back to the chiropractor tomorrow to try to see if I can get my leg better before the Reading, Pennsylvania pigeon show that I'm going to, which I will update you from that. This is going to be a gigantic pigeon show. I went last year. I barely had any pigeons when I went there. I think I came home with maybe 40 different kinds of pigeons. Well, I've sold them and traded them and kept them on whites, and I got some rollers. Right now, my rollers are doing good. I got some babies, and I've got 2 full nests starting all over again. They're supposedly James Turner bloodlines, but I've seen them fly. So it don't really matter what bloodline they are, where they come from, I guess. I have seen them fly. They look like rain when they're flying. They just tumble all through the sky. And that's what I'm looking for just around here. I don't compete with nobody. Anyway, like I said, it's Terry. Over here, Hidden Hollow. I won't keep y'all too long. I'm going to go back in the house and relax for a little while. Y'all have a wonderful evening.